We are taught the idea that we should give, share, and prioritize generosity over our personal interests. But someone warns us about the dangers of being too kind and compassionate. And liking the video so I can continue creating more content like this in the future. Excessive generosity could even endanger our own lives. Be amazed by the unexpected negative effects that kindness can bring you. Today, I will reveal the 8 things that happen to you from being too nice and introduce 4 Stoic strategies to prevent people from taking advantage of you. We live in a world where we don't always receive what we give, as it's full of generous people, empty both their financial and energetic resources through indiscriminate donations. This attitude is noble, but often we find ourselves consciously or subconsciously expecting others to respond with the same level of generosity. While it is only natural to want others to appreciate and value our actions, Stoicism reminds us that we cannot control the actions of others. We can only control our own actions and reactions. We expect people to recognize our efforts and reciprocate in a similar way. But what happens when these expectations are not met? If this is your first time on my channel, I ask you to help me by subscribing instead of giving in to the unlimited requests of others. Stoicism urges us to balance our generosity. This human tendency is where the concept of the comfort zone is born. We neglect our own needs and priorities, and we find ourselves trapped in a cycle of giving without receiving. Practicing moderation and giving in a balanced way allows you to maintain control over your own actions and avoid falling into habits that wear down your emotional will. If you get used to giving all the time, the beneficiaries of your generosity will expect you to give them something all the time. If we constantly take on responsibilities for others, we are allowing them to remain in their comfort zones. The emotions that arise in these moments of loneliness can be overwhelming. The feeling of emptiness, deafening silence, and the longing for connection can generate deep emotional discomfort. Recognize those uncomfortable emotions that arise in loneliness and embrace them with compassion. You will be seen as weak and treated as such. Allow yourself to be authentic in your wants and needs. You are no longer the one willing to shoulder everything without question. You are now someone who values themselves enough to set boundaries, someone who deserves to be treated with dignity and consideration. By uttering that one little word, you transform the way others see you. This shift in perception is pivotal. You are no longer an easy prey to the incessant demands of others. You are a strong individual capable of standing up for your boundaries and therefore deserving of respect. Set healthy boundaries and learn to say no when necessary. It challenges you to recognize who are the people who truly value your friendship and appreciation, and who are simply taking advantage of your generosity. By doing so, you not only protect your own energies and resources, but you also surround yourself with people who appreciate you for who you are, not just for what you can give them. Ultimately, this challenge provides you with the opportunity to practice Stoic self. You can choose to set clear boundaries and decide how you wish to spend your energy and time. By keeping your generosity balanced and focused on those who truly value your help, you can live according to Stoic principles and find a sense of peace and contentment amidst the complexities of human relationships. It is important to remember that Stoicism does not advocate becoming cynical or distrustful, but rather cultivating a deep understanding of human nature. By setting boundaries and practicing self, you are sending a clear message to the world. You deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. So the next time you find yourself in a situation where your boundaries are being tested, remember the strength that lies in that one little word. When you become someone who is willing to help unconditionally, it's only natural that people around you will start to notice. People rarely invite their employees or collaborators to share moments of leisure time. It's more common for such invitations to be extended to close friends, family members, or people with whom they have a genuine and equal relationship. This shift in the way you are treated can be bewildering and, in many ways, unfair. You find yourself in a position where you give freely only to feel excluded when it comes to joyful and relaxed moments. This selective treatment can hurt and lead to feelings of disillusionment and betrayal. However, this attention can have a dark side. People who previously considered you a good friend might start excluding you from fun social activities, reserving your presence only for when they need something. By uttering it, you are standing up for yourself and asserting your own worth. You will find that by honoring your own authenticity, you will not only heal yourself internally, but you will also be able to offer balanced and genuine generosity to others from a place of wholeness and authenticity. It is in these moments that we often seek refuge in the needs of others. We immerse ourselves in service to others as a way to fill the emptiness we feel within ourselves. Not only do we preserve our own peace and well-being, but we also encourage others to assume their own responsibilities and grow as individuals. Your inner voice becomes drowned out by external demands, and sooner or later, when you are faced with the stillness of your own being, the pain and fear you have been trying to avoid emerge with renewed strength. It is critical to recognize that tending to our own needs and priorities is not selfish. It is a form of self-care and preservation of our authenticity. If you help too much, over time you might be seen as an authority figure in the area in which you collaborate with others, but you could give off the exact opposite impression. In this context, the lack of boundaries makes you vulnerable. People perceive this weakness, and instead of respecting you, they may start to take advantage of you. They see you as someone willing to shoulder other people's responsibilities without question, and this can lead to a situation where you find yourself constantly overburdened, exhausted, and frustrated. The Stoics teach us that setting boundaries and living in accordance with our own virtues is not only an act of self-love, but also a path to an authentic and meaningful life. In this delicate balance, we find a true generosity that nourishes both others and ourselves. Setting boundaries and prioritizing our own responsibilities are essential to maintaining balance and avoiding sacrificing our authenticity and well-being for others. They do unfeel the need to grow or face challenges because they know that we will always be there to have their backs. By giving in a balanced way, we maintain control over our actions and avoid falling into patterns that wear down our emotional well-being. Without further ado, let's get started. By giving without expecting too much in return, you avoid disappointment and practice emotional detachment, which leads to greater peace of mind. 1. You'll have unrealistic expectations of people. The Stoics emphasize the need to accept circumstances as they are and not base our happiness on the actions of others. Imagine this scenario. You strive to be generous and kind, giving your best to others without expecting anything in return. The root of this problem lies in our expectations. Assuming that others will respond in the same way that we do, we put ourselves in a vulnerable position. It's difficult for us to be completely altruistic in our generosity. Consciously or subconsciously, when we give our all, we expect others to do the same. However, you have become so accustomed to doing everything for them that they will take for granted that you can handle everything in their lives, as well as in yours, especially yours, because why would they take on your responsibilities? The truth is, your expectations of reciprocity will not be met, and what will happen to you is, you will be moody, fatigued, frustrated, and disappointed. Stoicism teaches us that our true wealth lies in our ability to give without expecting anything in return, finding joy in the very act of giving and maintaining our peace of mind no matter what others' response is. 2. People will only expect you to give them something. The practice of moderation, so beloved by the Stoics, becomes an anchor in a sea of endless demands. We often adapt to situations and environments that feel comfortable to us. The problem is not only for others but for us as well. We take on other people's needs. It is important to give, but it is also crucial to maintain a balance by setting clear boundaries and practicing generosity in a balanced way. 3. Your priorities will be trampled on. The Stoics emphasized the importance of living according to reason and virtue. If you are giving everything for other people's priorities, you may find yourself running away from something within yourself that causes you pain and fear. The cost of this incessant giving is high. You lose yourself in the process. The next time you are tempted to run away from yourself in constant service to others, stop for a moment. 4. Stoicism encourages us to cultivate inner strength and self-control by setting boundaries and practicing self. When you start to say no firmly but respectfully, something amazing happens. People start to perceive you differently. Ultimately, respect doesn't just come from what you do for others, but also from how you treat yourself. 5. You will be used, but from a pragmatic perspective. It's not that surprising. People will only come to you when they need something. This pattern of behavior may seem heartless. However, from the Stoic perspective, this type of behavior is a test of your discernment. Through discernment, you can choose to help those who are truly in need and who will value your support genuinely. 6. You will attract only people in need and never those willing to give. According to the Stoics, our actions and thoughts emit an energy that attracts people with similar resonances. When we cultivate a positive emotional state of mind, we radiate high vibrations, which attract equally positive individuals, generous, enthusiastic, and genuine people. In addition, this low frequency also attracts opportunistic individuals who have neither the intention nor the resources to help, but see in us an easy source of what they want. However, when we give indiscriminately and exhaust ourselves emotionally and physically in the process, our energy weakens. We must learn to recognize when we are overgiving and depleting our own energies. In the context of generosity, practicing self-discipline protects us from falling into addictive patterns that can arise when we constantly feel depleted and needy due to our overextend. Giving without measure and without restriction can deplete our own emotional and physical reserves, leading us to seek relief in addictive ways such as overindulging in food, drink, or gambling. This involves setting clear boundaries and practicing moderation in our generosity. By taking their observations seriously, we are demonstrating a deep regard for our own well-being and a genuine commitment to our personal growth and long-term happiness. If someone we trust points out that we are turning too much to certain behaviors, we should take those observations seriously. It is natural for our first reaction to be denial, especially when we are caught in the cycle of a budding addiction. Therefore, if you are one of them, you will arouse suspicion rather than admiration and gratitude. It won't be long after you show your kindness that people start to wonder what is going on with you and what hidden intentions you have that you do not reveal to anyone. The Stoics believed in the importance of self-reflection in order to understand your reactions and needs. Thinking of yourself and prioritizing them is such an altruistic act that practicing it should make you feel like you're walking on clouds. So, if you're feeling overwhelmed, out of energy, angry, or used, It's time to pay attention to your feelings. If something you have no obligation to do is causing you so much discomfort, it is necessary not to trick yourself into figuring out how the help you re-giving affects your well-being. By listening to your feelings, you can identify if you are overgiving and draining yourself emotionally, allowing you to adjust your approach and find a healthy balance. Does this mean you have found a suspicious group of people? Not necessarily, but they are more likely to be realistic. Most over-enthusiastic people tend to hide such macabre intentions that it is best to steer clear of them and give up on the help they want to provide. By distancing yourself from people who constantly drain your energy and do not contribute positively, you are taking care of your own well-being and applying Stoic self-control in your relationships. These people will overwhelm you with their complaints, their pains, and their catastrophic vision of life. If we give too little, we seem selfish and greedy, while if we give too much, we end up completely drained of energy, time, and probably money too. So, lean towards grays, which remain the preferred shades when it comes to finding a balance between prioritizing others and ourselves. And when in doubt, always remember the magic word, no. Especially if they are offering you a ride home from a sketchy place. Forget about helping them. They do not want to solve their problems because that would imply stopping complaining, which is something they would not tolerate. Saying no in situations where you feel overwhelmed or when the request is unfair is one way of exercising self. Do what you enjoy. Practice yoga, draw, listen to music while having a cup of tea. Whatever motivates you. Finish your obligations as soon as possible so you can practice this. This is something that you should take very seriously as scheduling this time daily or weekly. Therefore, if someone asks you for help during that time, they should be very respectful and cooperative with you, not with the person. So, without remorse, tell them no and enjoy that time and space just for you. If you do not want to be so abrupt, you can offer your help for another time, but always make it clear your availability will be limited because you have a life to attend to. However, negativity is what will become our lives if we do not develop the ability to say this word when someone demands more from us than we can give. Practice in front of the mirror and convince yourself that it is the only way to recover your freedom and avoid unnecessary and potential risks. However, these concerns come from a genuine place of caring and love on our part. By focusing on living in harmony with our principles and values, we build a genuine reputation that is resistant to unfounded suspicion. Accepting these observations with humility and gratitude is a crucial step towards self-awareness and personal growth. In doing so, we are practicing Stoic philosophy in action, applying the principles of moderation and self-control to avoid falling into addictive traps that can undermine our health and well-being. By doing so, we keep our vibrations at a high frequency, and we attract people who value our authenticity and are willing to contribute reciprocally to the relationship. By being mindful of our energies and practicing balanced generosity, we can cultivate authentic and mutually beneficial relationships. These relationships are based on reciprocity, respect, and genuine appreciation for each other, rather than one-way exploitation. Ultimately, this allows us to live in accordance with Stoic principles and experience true human connection based on honesty and integrity. We begin to vibrate at a lower frequency, which attracts people in need to us. These people, far from being authentic and willing to give in a mutual relationship, approach us only to meet their own needs. The key, according to Stoic philosophy, lies in discernment and self. 7. You could fall into addiction. When the Stoics warn us about the possibility of falling into addiction, they are reminding us that moderation and self-control are critical to maintaining a balanced and healthy life. When we live according to Stoic principles, we recognize that generosity must be in balance. Stoic philosophy teaches us to pay attention to the warning signs that come to us through those close to us. Always remember that the people who care about us do so with the intention of helping us overcome challenges and move towards a more fulfilling and meaningful life. 8. You will arouse suspicion. Stoicism encourages us to act virtuously regardless of how others may perceive us. Although we might wish things were different, the truth is that genuinely kind people are not abundant in this world. Strategies to stop people from using you. Strategy 1. Listen to your feelings. They're speaking to you. Based on the Stoic idea of self-awareness, pay attention to your emotions and feelings. Think about how you feel when you help others. Strategy 2. Lose your fear of the word no. Following Stoic teachings, recognize that your time and energy are valuable and should be allocated consciously and in a balanced way. Although the word is not associated with negative behavior and pessimism, it is normal that we find it difficult to say no. Strategy 3. There is a time and a space for you. Respect them. By following the Stoic principles of self-discipline and self-respect, it is essential to set aside time and space to take care of yourself. Strategy 4. Identify energy vampires and stay away from them. Following the Stoic principles of self-discipline and discernment, it is important to recognize which relationships benefit you and which ones can emotionally drain you. If you try to help an energy vampire, you should know that it will not work. In conclusion, according to Stoic wisdom, in life, the best measure for things is always the middle point, and generosity is no exception. If you liked our video, give it a like, subscribe, and comment so YouTube knows that these types of videos help people like you and we can continue creating more similar videos in the future.